The stars outside the EDI Sentinel's observation deck shimmered cold and indifferent. Captain Elara Voss stood alone, silhouetted by the curve of Earth below, her arms crossed, jaw tight. Somewhere in that blue sphere, people argued about power, peace, and politics. Up here, she held the line. Behind her, the door hissed open. Lieutenant Rajiv's voice was sharp. "They are here." Elara turned. "Bring up the channel." The main screen lit with the insignia of the Galactic Council, 7 interlocking sigils spiraling into a golden sun. Then came the face of Chancellor Veruinexus, tall, silver-skinned, with ink-dark eyes and a voice as calm as gravity. "Captain Voss," he said, inclining his head, "the Council greets you in final goodwill." Elara said nothing at first. She let silence speak, let him feel the tension. Veruin continued. "We offer once more what hundreds of species have accepted without conflict, entrance into the Galactic Accord. Access to technological wonders. Harmony beyond cultural division." "You mean subservience," Elara said flatly. "We've read your records. Seen your integrations." The Chancellor's tone didn't shift. "Integration is a matter of adaptation. We eliminate the roots of violence, tribalism, chaos, independence. That last one," she snapped, "is the problem." Behind her, Rajiv frowned. "Captain." Elara raised a hand to silence him. Veruin's expression hardened. "Refusal to adapt invites chaos. Humanity is volatile, unpredictable. Your presence, uncontrolled, poses existential risk to galactic peace. We're not asking for membership," Elara said. "And we're not interested in your version of peace." A pause. Then Veruin leaned forward. "Then Earth will be observed. Your resistance recorded. Should aggression follow, correction will be necessary." The line cut. A tense quiet followed. Rajiv exhaled. "We just told the galaxy's most powerful entity to get lost." "Correction," Elara said. "I told them." She turned from the screen and walked toward the bridge. "Summon Command Council. We go red." In the war room, Earth's top orbital officers filled the table. General Tsai of the Eastern Command, Admiral Kirchner of the North Atlantic Fleet, and Minister Dellin from Earth's Diplomatic Corps. All eyes turned to Elara as she entered. "Veruin made his move," she said. "The last diplomatic veil just dropped." "Red status?" Kirchner asked. "Effective immediately," Dellin interjected. "We should reconsider. There are factions on Earth that want this alliance." "They do not speak for Earth," Elara replied. Tsai leaned forward. "What proof do we have that the Council's intentions are coercive?" Elara tapped her wrist pad. A projection lit the center of the table, a neural activity map. "This is from Ambassador Leung. After his last council meeting, we found active harmonics in his brain, resonance patterns not native to human neurology." "You're saying they tampered with him?" Kirchner asked. "They did not just tamper," Elara said. "They altered him. He was beginning to speak in non-native syntax. Phrases that match Trelassi logic structure." Tsai frowned. "Mental reprogramming? They call it harmonization," Elara said coldly. "It is not peace. It is personality death." The room went quiet. Dellin said softer now. "The Earth Council will not support preemptive aggression." "We are not going to war," Elara said. "But we will not bow. Aegis Line will activate in silent defense mode. All Council communication channels will be locked down. And Earth will speak with one voice finally." Kirchner nodded. "Understood." Hours later, in her private quarters, Elara sat in silence, staring at the dark. Her wrist console buzzed, an urgent update. Subject Council Envoy, medical emergency. She rushed to the medbay. The envoy, a human diplomat named Reyes who had traveled aboard the Council's envoy vessel, lay restrained on a diagnostic bed. His eyes were open, unblinking, lips moving. "Lysath, unification thought stream." The doctor looked up, pale. "We ran a neural scan. He's broadcasting harmonic frequencies. You mean? Elara said, her voice ice cold. He's been converted. Partially. But the patterns are unstable. He's resisting. That's why he's breaking down. Elara approached Reyes, lowered her voice. Race. It's Vas. If you're still in there, blink once. A long pause. Then a slow, deliberate blink. That was all she needed. Elara to bridge. Cut council comms entirely. I want a hard firewall, no open spectrum exposure. And prep for full security protocol. Hours later, she stood again before the stars, this time flanked by her crew. Behind her, Earth turned silently. Send the message, she said. A new broadcast launched from the EDI Sentinel and echoed across Sol's beacon relays. To the Galactic Council, Earth is not a client state. We are not a resource. We are not a colony. You offer peace, but your peace demands obedience. This is our final statement. No integration. No observation. No assimilation. Humanity stands apart. Varun received the message in his personal chamber on Arbitralis. The screen dimmed as the human broadcast ended. An aide entered quietly. Chancellor? Varun's expression didn't change. He looked into the void outside his station's viewport and murmured. They have chosen isolation over harmony. The anomaly persists. Behind him, the Council's internal security system flickered online. Earth now designated Category Theta, Ideological Hazard. At 0420 standard, the EDI Sentinel's main defense grid stuttered. For 1.2 seconds, the targeting arrays blinked offline. Just long enough to trigger a system-wide diagnostic, and nearly long enough to start a war. Captain Elara Vos watched the playback again, jaw clenched. Run it at quarter speed, she said. On the holoscreen, the Sentinel's primary laser turret swiveled 2 degrees off target, without command input. No system override, said Lieutenant Rin, her AI engineer. And no council frequency spike. But there's ghost code buried in the NAV assist module. Subtle, but definitely external. How did it get in? Rin shook his head. My guess? Software update piggyback. Clean signature masking. Not council-coded, but suspiciously anonymous. Someone smuggled this in on purpose. Someone inside. Elara didn't speak for a moment. Then, quarantine the AI systems. Full lockdown. And initiate a silent sweep on all personnel, neurological scans only. No alerts. Rin hesitated. You think someone's been turned? I think we already missed it once. The sweep took 4 hours. Out of 214 personnel, 1 triggered an anomaly, Communications Officer Marin Istav. 27, top of her class, and one of the loudest voices in favor of diplomatic re-engagement. She sat in the medical bay now, restrained, eyes flickering as though dreaming. Dr. Elston adjusted the neural interface. We found Trelasi logic patterns forming in her language centers. Her cortical rhythms are blending. She still thinks she's human? Elara asked. For now. But those patterns, if they stabilize, she'll think she chose to change. Can we reverse it? Elston paused. Maybe. But the deeper it goes, the less of her we can pull back. Elara stepped closer. Marin, she said gently. Do you remember your last contact with the council envoy? Marin's head twitched. She smiled, but her tone was wrong, precise, clipped. They offered us release from suffering. I accepted the gift. That is not your voice, Elara said coldly. Marin blinked, her expression fading. Who defines the self, Captain? Is it memory? Or function? Elara turned away. Sedate her. Back on the command deck, news from Earth worsened the day. Admiral Kirchner's face flickered on the secure comm. Captain, you have a problem. And so do I. Go ahead. There was a protest outside the Unified Parliament in Geneva. Pro-Council. Thousands showed up. They're calling us warhawks. Claim you're risking annihilation. Let me guess, someone leaked the diplomatic footage. Worse. Someone spliced it. Made Veruin look like a patient emissary, and you like a zealot. It's gone viral. The public's turning. Elara exhaled slowly. What about the neural data we found? Kirchner shook his head. Earth Council won't release it. They say it's unconfirmed and politically inflammatory. They want you to open communication channels again. Do they want to be colonized? Some do. Or they think it beats dying in orbit. Elara's voice turned sharp. No one dies unless they attack us first. And no one joins unless they understand what that really means. I support you, Kirchner said. But the tide's shifting. You may be standing alone soon. Later that evening, Elara sat in her quarters, reading. Not reports. History. She was revisiting Earth's oldest wars, the slow, brutal decline of empires that chose comfort over principle. Nations that gave up liberty for order, only to lose both. It was all there, written in every language. She glanced at the holoframe on her desk. Her brother's face stared back. Lieutenant Commander Theo Voss. Disappeared 3 years ago after accepting a council-sponsored mission to observe Velar Prime's peaceful transformation. No wreckage. No trace. But he stopped sending messages the moment the planet declared cultural integration complete. At 2300, a private encrypted burst came through. The signal was scrambled and marked as Category Black, Watcher Relay. That tag only applied to intelligence gathered off books, unofficial, and often dangerous. Elara activated it. A grainy image formed. A figure in a dark room, wearing an oxygen visor, his face gaunt. Elara, the man whispered. She froze. Theo. This'll burn itself in 60 seconds, so listen. The Council doesn't negotiate. They convert. Peace through conformity. Harmony through thought suppression. Behind him, faint whispers echoed, non-human voices speaking in layers. They seed harmonics into the brain slowly, through medtech, ambient signals, even food packs. By the time anyone notices, you feel grateful for the changes. Why are you telling me this now? She whispered. They're coming for Earth. Not with warheads, with ideas. And you're the last resistance node they haven't silenced. Static crackled. One more thing. They don't call us humans in private. They call us. The feed cut off. Message deleted. At 0200, the lights dimmed across the ship. Power flux. Emergency lighting engaged. Lieutenant Rajiv met her at the lift. Engine control AI attempted self-rewrite. Security intervened. It tried to upload a harmonics file into the ship's food processors. They're accelerating. Yeah, Rajiv said grimly. No more subtlety. Elara nodded. Then neither will we. She marched to the bridge. Activate Aegis Protocol Level 2. Disable all non-critical AI functions. Disable all OpenCom relays, both inbound and outbound. Council channels stay dark. And Earth? Let them shout. We do not answer lies with silence anymore. At 0400, she stood again before the viewport, her reflection hard-edged and worn. Humanity had always been divided, across nations, cultures, beliefs. But now, finally, that disunity made sense. The Council feared chaos because it could not control it. Elara didn't fear it. She was it. The drone breached orbit at dawn. Sleek, silver, and silent, it drifted past Earth's outer defense perimeter like a needle through cloth, unarmed by appearance, but humming with power. Captain Elara Voss watched from the EDI Sentinel's tactical bay, eyes narrowed. It bore no insignia, no council markings. But its construction, segmented alloy skin, curved antennae, smooth propulsion flares, was unmistakable. Council reconnaissance, said Rajiv beside her. It dropped from subspace without a trace. No warning. Not reconnaissance, Elara muttered. That thing's broadcasting. She pointed to the spectrum analyzer. A soft pulse, nearly imperceptible, fluttered in the low-frequency harmonics. Subtle. Designed to seed itself into nearby systems. And minds. Shut down all receivers, Ilara ordered. Full EM isolation. We treat that drone like a bioweapon. Rajiv hesitated. Orders from Earth say we're not to engage unless fired upon. Ilara turned to him. I just watched that machine whisper to our species. That is an attack. 30 minutes later, the drone was a cloud of glowing shards, drifting harmlessly in the vacuum. Ilara stood on the bridge, unflinching as the blast echo faded from sensors. The comms officer looked pale. Council transmission incoming. Direct and immediate. Put it through. Veruin's face materialized on the screen, his expression carved from stone. You destroyed a diplomatic unit. Ilara stepped forward. You deployed a neurobroadcaster into sovereign airspace. Don't pretend diplomacy was the intent. It was a final gesture of outreach. Unarmed. Psychic infiltration isn't peacekeeping. It's subversion. And we don't permit it. Veruin's dark eyes locked on hers. You have chosen defiance over dialogue. You will be classified as a rogue civilization. We prefer the term independent. The transmission cut. Ilara didn't look away from the screen. Send the footage to Earth's emergency channels. No editing. Let them see. Later, deep in the comms core, Ilara watched the message go live across Earth's networks. The drone, the pulse, the firing solution. All of it. No narration. No spin. Just truth. Protest stuttered. Support shifted. Even the Earth Council, the same body that had dismissed her warnings days ago, issued a statement of concern. Still vague. Still political. But the tide had shifted. She knew it the moment her wrist console chimed. Private relay. Unknown source. She opened it. A single sentence glowed on the screen. You're not the anomaly. You're the catalyst. At 1,700 hours, the EDI fleet reconfigured into a defensive wall across geosynchronous orbit. Shield vectors adjusted. Surveillance drones positioned outward. A new protocol had gone into effect, Aegis Phase 3. Full defense activation. Limited contact with surface command. Earth would remain operationally blind unless it chose to fully align with the fleet. Ilara stood before her officers. We've been reacting, she said. Waiting for violations, breaches, games. No more. She tapped the holomap. We have hard evidence. Neuroharmonic tech. Psychological conversion. Targeted sabotage. And still they speak of unity. Earth wants to play diplomat, said Tsai, now patched in via satellite. But after today, even the softest voices are calling this what it is. Control, Ilara said. Perfect control, disguised as peace. And what's our message? Asked Rajiv. Ilara turned to the room. We send it now. To the galaxy. To every free species. Loud, clear, and permanent. The message launched through a deep burst relay routed through Mars, Europa, and the Titan-com spires. A human voice, Ilara's, backed by irrefutable data and high-frequency encryption designed to bypass council filters. The message began simply. To all listening. The council promised peace. They delivered silence. This is not diplomacy. It is erasure. Humanity chooses truth over comfort. Chaos over chains. We are not hostile. But we will never kneel. We are not yours to shape. It ended with a signature. Earth Command, Orbital Defense Division. And a second line Ilara insisted on. We are the anomaly. And we will endure. On Arbitralis, the council chambers erupted in muted chaos. Ambassadors from 12 species demanded clarification. Some asked whether the neuroharmonics were real. Others remained silent, perhaps already compromised. Chancellor Veruin stood above them, the broadcast playing behind him, looping again and again. Earth has declared ideological war, he said. They threaten not with weapons but with dissent. That virus spreads faster than any fleet. They broadcast to all sectors. A member of the Chiral Confederacy muttered. They're already viral. Then they must be quarantined, Veruin said. Mentally, technologically and politically. Another delegate, a serpent-eyed being from Zotha, hissed. If their defiance continues, others may remember independence. Veruin narrowed his eyes. That cannot be permitted. Back aboard the Sentinel, Alara stood alone again, staring at the Earth's curve, brilliant, turbulent, alive. Rajiv entered quietly. You know this makes you the most dangerous person in the system. I'm not dangerous, she said. I just said no. Sometimes, he said. That's worse than firing a gun. She nodded. And smiled. Let them come.